Let me ask you something. Right now, your phone knows where you are. Your laptop can predict what you're about to type. Planes can stay in the air for hours at a time. And the internet is able to route your thoughts in milliseconds to the whole world. And almost all of these things were not invented by the people we remember. In fact, some of the most important architects, the people that built the world we know today, some of them died broke, ignored, or forgotten in history. And here's the big realization in this. And if just one of these people hadn't existed, the world wouldn't just look differently. It wouldn't work the same way it works right now. And today, join me as I show you the real reality, the backbone, the people that built the very world we use and live in today. The forgotten pioneers whose ideas run our lives today. And by the end of this video, you'll realize something very unsettling. Progress doesn't reward the truth, but instead it rewards timing, power, and who controls the overarching narrative. So, join me as we dive in today. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And first, let's dive in by looking at the woman who invented the future before the future had even had electricity. Ada Lovelace, the first programmer. In the 1980s, there was no internet, no computers, not even the light bulb had been invented at the time. And yet, Ada had written the first computer program ever. But the funny thing is, it wasn't on a computer, it was on paper. Most people at the time would say she was just helping Charles Babbage. And fortunately, that isn't the truth. You see, Babbage invented a machine that could calculate numbers. Ada looked at this invention, and she saw something completely different. She had realized at the time that this machine that Babbage is building didn't have to work with numbers. It could work with music, language, or logic. She wrote, "This is real," that one day machines could be able to compose music on their own, or even create art. If only she had lived nowadays to see all the technological advancements in AI, to think that she was right all those years ago. In 1843, that sentence alone should have broke your brain, because something like that was impossible. But here's the twist about her life and her life's work that nobody talks about. Ada wasn't trying to build machines. Instead, she was trying to understand human thought. You see, at the time, Ada believed that machines were able to reflect the way humans thought, step by step, rule by rule, which means the first software engineer was actually a philosopher. And then, as we know on the topic of this video, history buried her. But why? Because everything that she had done looked insane at the moment. And that's because she didn't fit into the story. A woman thinking abstractly and predicting AI before the creation of electricity, while removing her from history. Textbooks gave all the credit to hardware guys, and the software, the soul of computing, was treated like an afterthought. Until now, every time somebody says AI creativity came out of nowhere, or some people would say AI is stealing creativity, they were all wrong, because Ada came first. And if you guys think Ada's story is crazy, wait until you hear about Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla, the man who lost the future. Nikola Tesla didn't invent electricity. Instead, he invented your electricity. AC power, wireless transmission, radio signals. The reason power travels long distances without frying the power grids. But here's the part that feels unreal. Tesla wanted electricity to be free. No meters, no billing, no ownership. Power would have been a public good. And that idea alone scared the wrong people. Because if electricity is free, control disappears. So Tesla lost, and not because he was wrong. It was because he refused to play the game. So if he wasn't going to play the game, somebody else was. Thomas Edison, a great businessman, but also a horrible human being. He ran smear campaigns. He electrocuted animals publicly, all to convince people that Tesla's engineering was dangerous. And unfortunately for Tesla, his campaign worked. Tesla died alone in a hotel room while the world kept on running on his ideas. and while somebody else was collecting the credit. But here's the chilling part of Tesla's story. Tesla believed that wireless energy would be able to connect the entire world. It would have been like a global nervous system, a web full of signals. Does that sound familiar to you guys? We didn't invent the internet. We fulfilled Tesla's unfinished dream, but we still forgot his name. Tesla's story shows us the harsh reality of what power without control can look like. And the next story is going to show us the story of brothers that created something that the whole world still uses to this day. The Wright Brothers, the invention nobody believed in. Before the Wright Brothers, everybody believed that flying required brute force, big wings, big engines, and most importantly, big money. But the Wright brothers thought about this a little bit differently. Instead of thinking about all these things, they studied birds. They realized that flight wasn't about brute force. It was all about control, specifically roll, pitch, and yaw. And once they figured that out, they built a system, not a machine. And when they succeeded in doing this, nobody believed them. The US government ignored them. The European government laughed at their idea. And with all of this happening, the Wright brothers decided to stop talking and started showing them what their idea was. They kept on flying in secret while the whole world mocked them, until one day they flew in front of the French military and everything started to change overnight. And here's the lesson hidden in the story. The world doesn't reject new ideas because they're wrong. It rejects them because it rewrites the rules. We already see how the Wright brothers' invention was so monumental that the whole world started to adopt it. But the next person we're about to see made something that the world uses at a scale much higher than an airplane. The woman who built the internet. Quick question, what do you think happens when a part of the internet breaks? Exactly, nothing. Just to make something super simple, traffic reroutes itself. And that's not by magic or mistake. That's because of Radia Perlman. She invented the spanning tree protocol, which sounds pretty boring at first glance, but until you realize it's the reason the internet doesn't collapse once something fails in the back end. And just to make this a little bit easier, if we didn't have her, we wouldn't have things like the cloud, no streaming, we wouldn't have global internet, and yet she's rarely mentioned. Why? And that's because infrastructure isn't flashy. We celebrate people that build apps, but we don't celebrate the people that had to code them in the back end. And that's because the most powerful people don't build programs, they build the systems. The same way we're about to learn about a system that we've all been through that wasn't made for what we thought it was. The school system was never about learning. So real quickly, let me ruin school for you. Modern education wasn't made to create thinkers. It was designed to create workers. Standardized schedules, age-based grouping, and the bell systems. It was modeled after factories. People like Korosa Man didn't ask, how do we unlock the human potential? They asked, how do we make humans more predictable? And what happened to the forgotten pioneers? Educators that believed that curiosity was more important than obedience. They lost because curiosity doesn't scale, control does. And now we're shocked that creativity feels rare in these times. And while creativity is busy dwindling, machines are busy growing in their creativity. But now we're going to be looking at the story of a man that pioneered machine thinking. The man who taught machines to think. Alan Turing cracked the code that won World War II. Literally, by his work alone, he was able to shorten World War II. He saved millions of lives. And then, unfortunately, his own country is what destroyed him. And because he was gay, they chemically castrated him and he died alone. And here's the punch to the gut you're not expecting right now. Our modern AI infrastructure is built on his ideas. The Turing test, machine logic, computation theory, the very future we're living in right now exists because of his ideas and because he suffered. We even barely say his name. The final truth. Here's the pattern. The people that change the world for the better are people that are rarely mentioned in history. And even in the time of their living, they are really the people that get to enjoy the fruits of their labor. They don't win because they're right. They win if the world is ready for their idea. And most of the time, it isn't. Progress is built by misfits, ignored by thinkers, and people who see a gap in the market are often far too early. So, when next time somebody tells you it came out of nowhere, or it was overnight success, or even sudden innovation, you'll know better, because the world you live in is a graveyard of forgotten brilliance. And the question is, who's being ignored right now? Maybe it's someone watching this very video right now. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. And just to continue your YouTube binge, YouTube thinks you'll enjoy this video. So check it out, and God bless.